Hey, Scott Fresener here with t-biz TV. I'm talking to you from beautiful New Orleans from SGIA 2011. This is the third day of the show. My second day show report had some technical issues, but the show has been interesting, huge show. I mean, when you walk the show, you go from one end to the other, and it's like a hike up the canyon. And but of course, so much of it is the white format. You've got HP and Agfa and Epson, and all the big guys are here. The garment guys were pretty much into one little area, although they were spread out through the show. And this show typically you have to kind of walk around and find the garment guys here or there. They did have the digital decorating zone that had all the different direct-to-garment machines kind of on display in a non-sales, non-threatening kind of an area. Stalls had a nice heat graphics area where Ted was doing some talking. They had seminars going on. They actually had a lot of activity back there. I mean, they had a nice little roped off area, and you could kind of come and go as you pleased. There was a screen print production zone, and it was good, although the seminars there were not packed. I've seen them busier last year. They had an automatic press, and they had a little seminar area where Lawn Winners and company were doing some seminars. But sometimes the crowds weren't like huge. And so what was new? What was new here? DTG brought out their new M2 printer, which I say new loosely. I think they showed it in Hamburg back in March for the first time. Anajet, of course, had their new printer here. Brother had a new printer, but it was interesting. They had kind of a little roped-off area with a semi-big bodyguard kind of guarding the area. And the machine was in the back. You had to actually be worthy to kind of go in and watch the machine run. It was very interesting. It wasn't a big fanfare and out in the front of the booth. And, of course, I wasn't worthy, so I wandered by and peeked as best I could, like a peep show. People were back there looking in the machine. So it was kind of an interesting concept to make it kind of very special, and you had to kind of know somebody to get in to see it. Lawson has redesigned their machine. I did a nice interview with my friend David Landesman from Lawson. They also brought out a new computer-to-screen machine, which is very fast. They showed me doing a print on a screen in about a minute and a half, and it was a very, very fast machine. So check out that interview. I bumped into my good friend Richard Greaves, and Richard and I had a nice talk and interview. Richard is kind of has a real pioneer in the industry, and I think he's kind of an unsung hero because he's been a little absent for the last couple of years and kind of in and out. And so check out the interview I did with Richard Greaves. So all in all, I think the show was good. The golden images were, of course, magnificent. I think the entries looked like there were less this year. Now, I don't know the count, so I can't, don't quote me on that. But it looked like there were less entries on the garment side. But what entries there were fantastic. And, of course, one thing that always jazzes me is the student competition. There are some fantastic things being done at the student competition, and you know I've been involved myself with DECA and some of the where the student on the local level are competing, and boy, the stuff here is great. But the winner of the what's called the Best in Show for the garments was a great high density image, and if you watch my complete show report that I'm going to edit up when I get home, I have an image of that where it's a high-density lenticular. So you look at it one way, it shows one image. You look at it face-on, it shows a different image. And you look at it from the other side, it shows a whole different image. And they won the Best in Show for the garment side. I'm a member of the Academy of Screen Print Technology, and we actually vote on the Best in Show of all of the gold winners. So we come through the show, and all of the people that have won gold for the various categories, we pick the Best in Show from that. And they were awarded that award last night at the kind of the banquet dinner that they have here at the show. So all in all, let's see what else is new. I mentioned in my first report that M&R wasn't here. Well, that's kind of true. They are actually here with Graphic Solutions. So M&R had a pretty good presence, but not as themselves. And what I found was a lot of the big companies kind of consolidated and came with their distributors. Unique wasn't here, but I saw my buddy Joe Catazone. He was hanging out with Northwest Graphics. Wilflex wasn't here, and I'm sure they had a dealer showing their stuff. So you had lots of the bigger guys kind of saying, you know what, SGI is just not quite right for us right now, but we'll have our stuff there, we'll have our people there, but we're going to have our own booth. The aisles didn't seem too packed, though. I was surprised at that. Cornet had their new machine, which is their designed so that it can actually be printing one shirt and printing the other shirt, doing the white, doing the colors, kind of they call it, I think, a dual carriage machine. And it did seem faster. And, of course, the Cornet booth was busy. Those guys always pack them in. Other than that, I had a great time. Watch for a complete edited show report in the next couple days with images of the show. And this is Scott Fresener, got to catch a flight, talking to you from beautiful New Orleans. The weather is great today. It was nasty cold the first night. Last night was fantastic. And we're having a good time. Scott Fresener for t-biz TV, t-biz Network, signing off. Bye-bye.